Hi, everybody. My little snow people. Every so often, different pastors around the presbytery are invited to contribute something to the presbytery-wide e-news, the newsletter. And I was honored to be asked to do something for the Christmas edition, which is kind of tricky with ministers because we're also burned out usually. I won't say burned out. Maybe that's the wrong. We just get so tired, so weary because of all that we have to do. But I found myself writing something about my childhood, and so I thought I'd share that today, actually. I've had a few people respond and tell me how much it helped. So hopefully, if you're feeling a little tired, like you're being run ragged or whatever, hopefully this will help you too. All right. Let me pull it up here so I can read it. And it's titled, "And Now Here You Are." Where were you for Christmas when you were 6 years old? Ours was one of the few year-round houses on Goodyear Lake outside of Oneonta, New York. And it was a snowy Christmas Eve. We had been to the early family service at First Pres, and I had already gone to bed, my normal 8 o'clock bedtime. After a period of sound sleep, my excitement had awakened me, and of course, I had to go to the bathroom, which was all the way downstairs, through the living room, through the dining room, through the kitchen, and so I called for my mother to accompany me. Now, nobody else was home except for her and my grandmother, who lived with us in a room off the living room. My brothers and father must have been at the late, that is, probably grown-up service. Now, as an adult, I think it must have been probably around 10:30 or so. As I walked down the stairs, sleepy-eyed, and rounded the corner into the living room, I was astonished. All the gifts were already under the tree, spilling out into the room. The stockings hanging on the mantel were stuffed to overflowing. But there, right there in plain sight, Graham's light was on. She was up. She was awake. This can't be, I thought. Santa only comes when we're all in bed, asleep. Throughout the bathroom trek, I interrogated my mother about that detail, as only a 6-year-old can do. She said we would stop and talk to Graham about it on our way back upstairs. "Mom," she asked her mother, no doubt with some hand gestures of explanation that were out of my sightline, "did you hear anything out here?" At which point I interrupted, excitedly explaining about Santa and the rules regarding his visit. And my grandmother, bless her heart, glanced up from her crossword puzzle with the most cherubic and loving face and said, "Well, I did hear something. Was that what it was? Oh, my. And now you're here." I remember my mother escorting me up the stairs back to bed saying, "Santa knows that your grandmother is just so pure and so good that I'm sure he felt it would be okay to come when he did. She probably even helped him," she whispered conspiratorially. How often I think of that year. I think 6 is a perfect age for those who are trying to balance magic and reality, the sacred and the secular, learning to live in the liminal time of mystery and wonder, willingly suspending logic because we want so very much to believe. And as I think about our world today, hovering between tragedy, loss, violence, and depression on the one hand, with hope, possibilities, and choosing or daring to believe and optimism on the other, I find a lot of similarities with 6-year-olds. One of the challenges facing us as women and men of faith, especially those of us in leadership, is figuring out the best way to tip the balance toward mystery and wonder just enough to provide a sliver of light where hope and possibilities can gain a foothold for the new year. It's easy for us to feel exhausted and discouraged right now. It's easy for us to just want to give up, to feel the weight of choosing or daring to believe and wonder if it's still worth it. And in those moments, I find myself reading, wait for it, those of you who know me aren't going to believe this, reading Paul. Most specifically, the Message version of Romans 12:11. Don't burn out. Keep yourselves fueled and aflame. Be alert servants of the Master, cheerfully expectant. I don't know about you, but keeping myself fueled and aflame during Advent and Christmastide, when I am often running on autopilot because of all the details, additional services, home visits, thank yous, staff vacation schedules, annual report writing, etc., can be a little beyond my reach. And did I mention a pandemic? And those are the times when I try to remember the 6-year-old and her Christmas Eve bathroom run. I didn't have to stifle my questions because I knew my mother and my grandmother were there. I was safe. I was loved. It was a Bethlehem moment. I'm sure that you have memories from earlier times too. The first time maybe you went to a Christmas Eve service with friends, or coming home from college or seminary and suddenly the reading sounded different. The first time you or your special someone shared the holiday, your child's or grandchild's first Christmas, maybe your first year as a pastor. All of those times can transport us right back into the Christmas spirit, which you and I really know is the layperson's way around calling it the Christ spirit. I'm here this year to say, go there. Go there, my friends. Envelop yourself in the memories. If just for a few moments, you will find yourself refreshed, fueled, and aflame. You'll feel your own Bethlehem moment when mystery and wonder are sufficient, when hope and new possibilities can get a foothold to propel you through the holidays. And who knows? You might even find God, and I spelled it Godde, you might even find God doing a crossword with a cherubic face, lovingly smiling at you, saying, and now, here you are. May the Spirit replenish you with the holy humming of God's grace. You can do this. We were all called for just such a time as this. Merry Christmas. I invite you, even if you're not a pastor or a church leader, to take some of these ideas, because we're all feeling this in one way or another, and it's made worse by the pandemic, I think. There's this sort of depressing, and I don't mean that in a psychological way, I mean it is in pressing down. There's a pressing down sense about our culture, our exuberance, our excitement. There's something that just doesn't feel like years past. So go to the past for a little bit. Don't stay there, but touch base. Make it a touchstone. Make happy memories your touchstones here or there, or, remember when this happened. And let those feelings germinate again or be revived. And let them skitter around inside of you, kind of like a pinball. And everywhere they touch, there will be life, replenishment, rejuvenation. Take that with you today. Thanks for joining me for this time to think of something greater than ourselves. In this case, maybe our earlier selves. I'm Pastor Deb Swift of South Presbyterian Church in Rochester, New York. And until next time, God bless, take care, and bye for now.